Stacy Macaluso has been working with the Parkinson's community for over 10 years. She led the Parkinson's Connection at the CATS JCC in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and I'm going to editorialize that. It's really one of the strongest programs I've seen in a long time for a community center to have. It from 2017 to 2022. She started and developed the program as one of, she says it, one of the largest programs for East Coast for people with PD. As coordinator and coach, she received many awards for her work. She was recognized as SJ Magazine Woman of Excellence in 2020 and named Game Changer in South Jersey for bringing wellness programming to the local area for the Parkinson's community. In 2020, she was a nominee for the Rocksteady Boxing Coaching Award of the Year. She also awarded the CATS JCC People's Choice Award in 2021, honoring her for her contribution and work with the Parkinson's community. Stacy accepted a position as a Davis Finney Foundation ambassador, providing support and resources for the PD community throughout the tri-state area and beyond. Since she has founded PD Prime, where she is a life coach and fitness specialist virtually for people all over the world. She is teaching Rocksteady Boxing, pedaling for Parkinson's, PWR moves, and dance for PD. She also practiced as a dental hygienist for 3 decades in South Jersey community. So when you see her, make sure you smile with pearly whites. Okay, she lives in New Jersey with her husband, Michael, of 30 years, where they raised their children, Adrian, Michael, and Abigail. I've seen Stacy's resume. Really, she got into physical fitness for herself. She has all these certificates of, allowing her to teach this and that and the whole thing. And then 10 years ago, she started focusing, luckily for us, on the Parkinson's community, and she's been quite a mover and shaker. On that happy note, Stacy wants to talk to us about some stuff today, and we're going to be listening. So Stacy, take it away.
Thank you, Susan. Susan, did I send you the wrong?
You said what you sent me. You didn't send me about.
Does it say Prime or does it say Mission?
It says Prime.
Okay, I may have sent you the old one.
Really?
So last year, you guys may have seen me on the meeting, and I was working with an organization that I'm no longer working with. And I started my own organization based on my mission and vision of what I feel my work in this community has been and how it's helped people. And I really stay true to that. I don't want to compromise my vision or my mission unless I feel that, there's a good reason to. I'm very sincere. My commitment to the community is authentic, and I never knew anybody with Parkinson's. A lot of people ask me that, so I'm sure somebody's wondering. I wonder if she knew somebody with Parkinson's. I didn't know anybody with Parkinson's. I stumbled upon the Dance for PD program, and I fell in love with it. I've been a dancer my whole life, and I see you out there, Linda. I'm talking your language. And when I went to the demo, David Leventhal moved me in a way that I've never been moved before. And I met people that really touched my heart, and it made me want to stay working in this community. The longer that I continued to work within the community and meet the doctors and the physical therapists, people with Parkinson's, the care partners, I was drawn more and more into the community, to be part of the community, to help you guys, whatever it takes to get to the end game, which hopefully is curing Parkinson's. And that's what Michael J. Fox said yesterday in New York at the round table. He said, I love what I do here, providing treatments and finding new therapies and new medications and everything that we could do, but I want to find a cure. And, I think that when he said that, it reminded me of why I do what I do. I can help everybody feel better day to day, but I do have a grand plan and mission along with you guys that I want to find a cure. I want to make our country recognize that this is a problem and we're all at risk, and our children and our grandchildren, future generations are really facing a serious situation with Parkinson's if we don't do something to bring change. So, Ashlyn, can you do me a favor? Can you bring everybody up on the gallery? Can I do that? Maybe I can do that here. I like to be able to see everybody, especially when we're exercising. I think I can do it. There we go. I got it.
Also, if you have questions, put them in the chat and I will be monitoring the chat. So just put it in the chat on the bottom and I will monitor it and bring them up accordingly.
So I want this to be interactive. It's very easy for me to go on chit-chatting and talking about all the things that we need to do, we should do, we need to work on, and what Power Moves is. But I really, I'm here as an advocate for you. And the best way for me to be an advocate is for me to understand what your needs are, what your specific situation or needs or questions may be. So if you have any, stop me at any time, feel free. Put them in the chat box if you want to wait till the end. But I'm really open and just here to be a resource for anybody that needs it. So I'll throw that out there first. Anybody have any questions before we get going? No? All right. Let me start first talking about Parkinson's Wellness Recovery, or Power Moves. By a show of hands, and I can only see maybe about 7 of you, how many of you are familiar with Power Moves or Parkinson's Wellness Recovery? Okay. So this is a program that's very, it's been around for a long time. And it's very similar to LSVT in that it's a therapy-based fitness program. So the principles of it are based on the physical therapy movements that will help you with balance, flow, big amplitude of movements. But we create it more into a fitness format to make it fun, different each week. We add little vocal inflections or weights, bands, balls, tissues, whatever we can come up with to make it creative, to keep it fun. When we show up and do the same thing every week or hear the same cues every week, our brains can get really kind of very, almost like you don't have to pay attention. It's just blank. You know what's coming, so you just go through the motion. My job is to make you not know what's coming next, so that you have to think. Because if I don't keep you thinking, then your body is just going to move without thought. And that's one of the most important things that we need to really concentrate on and think about when we have Parkinson's, is that these movements may not be as automatic. And they may not be like they used to be. So we want to have more thought about them. We want to remember to be thinking about making them big, thinking about how we're moving. Are both arms swinging, right? Are both arms out and up? Are we extending our hands and opening our hands? Or are our hands kind of like just loose? So everything from the head to the toe to the fingertips is everything that we work on in my classes as a dancer would work on in their dance class. When dancers dance, we dance from our fingertips to our toes. Everything is in motion. And when we move, we want to have that same type of feeling with our body, that if we're going to the left, everything's going to come with us, right? And that's not as automatic all the time. So Parkinson's Wellness Recovery is something that I started working on about 8 months ago. I've always wanted to do the training, but before the pandemic, it was a little bit more difficult to find trainers in this area or actually go to a training somewhere else. And since the pandemic, they've made it a little bit easier, and I was super excited to get this training under my belt. I think that there's a lot of variations, that it takes you from seated to standing, kneeling, lying on your backs, maybe at the wall or on the floor on your belly, or even leaning over a chair. So the beauty of this too is, if you're not able to stand up, I can still give you the modifications to participate in this format, which is really fun. It makes people feel like they can be part of it, even if they're at a different level or a different stage. And that's really important to me too, that I never make anybody feel like they show up to my classes or to any classes and they can't participate. There's always a place for participation as long as we can modify the movement to make it specific to you. So anybody out there, again, with a raise of hands, and I'm just laughing at Marcia, you've had your hands up the whole time, but that's only because that's in your picture, but it's so funny, I keep saying a raise of hands. Tell me if you have any special modifications, special parts, injuries, or things that you need to be aware of when you exercise. Show of hands. Anybody? Bad knee, bad neck, right? Ankles, hips, back. Yeah, good. Awesome. So the first thing is about recognizing it. I have scoliosis, so twisting may be concerning, right? Or I have a knee, it's not so happy all the time. I might not squat as deeply. My left shoulder sometimes acts up if I move it too much, too fast. So I'm going to slow my movements down, have less reps, and just create the movements to be more of a stretching motion instead of a fast cardio. All right, so there's always ways to take the movement that we're going to do, modify it so that it's right for you. So that's the first thing I always want to tell you. No matter what class you go in, wherever you show up, your trainer, your fitness person should be able to accommodate the workout to you. Now, again, if you go into a high level class and everybody works at a high level and you're not feeling like that's the right class for you and they have other leveled classes, I would suggest that you go into the level class that works at the right speed and fitness level for you. Sometimes that's not possible, especially when you're talking about virtual classes, right? Show up in a virtual class and there's all different kinds of people on the screen. People that are able to work at a high level, people that aren't even getting up out of their chair. So I want them to feel successful when they leave. I want you to feel successful when you leave. That's the main goal of your workouts. It's not how fast you went, how many reps you went, or how heavy your weights were. It's about, did you succeed today in moving? And did that movement feel good? Did it feel safe and effective? And when you leave the class, are you happy? And do you feel better than you felt when you showed up? And those are the key components to living well with Parkinson's. Safety first, always. Modifying the workout to be good for you, not somebody else. Not what someone else can do, what you can do. And leaving feeling like a success, like you achieved something. You know, there's going to be days when you're going to achieve it up at here, and there are going to be days when you're going to be here, and there are going to be days when you're going to be here. Right? Anybody have COVID, come off of having COVID, after you had COVID, or after you got sick, or had an injury? Takes you a little bit of time to get back on track. Give yourself that time. It's very important to give yourself that time. Give yourself the tools that you need to be successful. Hydration, food, nutrition, sleep, rest. Sleep and rest are different things. Don't forget. Sleep is sleep, rest is rest. You may do a hard workout one day and be sore the next. The next day is a rest day. Rest day doesn't mean don't do anything, but it may mean take a walk or stretch or do Tai Chi or do something that has a lower level of intensity so that you have this balance happening between your days, right? We drive our car at 100 miles an hour all the time, and we never stop or give it a chance to slow down and let the engine rest. It'll burn out. and we're the same. So remember what you need to succeed. Give yourself those things, and then ask yourself, what way will I move through this and feel good on the other end? And the reason I talk about that a lot is because I was a huge exerciser to the highest limit, where the next day my body didn't feel good. And I was in pain more than feeling like I did something good for my body. I was breaking it down. And I got to a point in my life where I said, okay, that's probably not good for me anymore. So I had to figure out my workouts. How could I do my workouts so that they were effective? I was still getting what I needed from them, but I wasn't killing myself that the next day I couldn't even move. Or how about, have you ever done a workout that was so challenging that you were spent for the rest of the day? You just had no energy. You're just in the couch, couldn't move. That isn't what I want you guys to be focusing on. When we have Parkinson's, our workouts are supposed to enhance and improve the way we feel and give us the ability to have energy to move on through our regular day tasks and activities. Right? So if your workouts are really spending you to the point where you have nothing left for that, then I want you to ask yourself how you can change that. Find that balance. Okay, because what we're doing here is living. We want to live our best life with the right amount of energy in our workouts. So think about all those balances that I just kind of pointed out to you, okay? Any questions? Anybody have any comments about that? Anybody guilty of doing any of those things like me or Susan? Yeah. That can come from personality too.
Yeah,
Some of us have that AAA personality.
Yeah, my PT recently stopped some of my workout.
Good.
Great.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like wired too to perform. You know, we want to show our physical therapists and our trainers how strong we are. We want to perform, right? We want to show ourselves and our families and our friends that how strong we are, and we're going to perform for them. And that's great. But remember that that level of performance, that has to be able to take you through the rest of the day. So we don't want to perform and then crash, all right? So just things to keep in mind, how we stay successful. So I don't like to just chit chat and talk too much. I'm going to break it up by moving a little bit in between. So if anybody needs to go grab a drink or get something, we're going to start by doing some power moves in our chair. And then we'll take a break and I'll talk a little bit about the legislation, the National Plan to End Parkinson's Act, HR 8585 and S 4851. If you guys got those numbers down yet. So grab a chair. I'm going to give you some warm up from a seated position first. And when you sit on your seat, for those of you that sit working out often, sitting to the front edge of your seat alleviates the thighs from sitting on the bottom of your chair. What that does is forces you to use your core and your shoulders and back and spine posture to sit up tall. It also forces you to be able to use your legs more, because if your thigh is on the seat, you really don't have as much range of motion, okay? So sitting to the front edge of your seat, if that works for you, is very helpful, okay? So option is out there. Some of you may have already walked, warmed up today. You're ready to go. Feel free to grab a couple of light weights if you want. Now, mine are just ones, very light, nothing much. And it just adds a little bit of fun to what we're going to do. So first thing we're going to talk about is posture. Shoulders up, right over the ribs, ribs over the hips. Now often we lean forward or shrug. Chin comes forward. I'll show you a sideways view. Earlobes over the shoulder, shoulder over the ribs, ribs over the hips. That alignment gives you that long spine. The other thing I want you to take a look at is my neck. Chin down, looking at your screen, possibly interfering with your breathing, swallowing and speaking. Chin lifted parallel to the floor. Intentional voices are able to come out. Breath is able to go in and out. We are able to speak clearly with intent. All right, so nice seat, all the way up, shoulders up. First thing I want you to do is just lean front and back. So we have a big lean forward, and as you go back, you can even touch your chair, and you feel your abdominals coming involved, right, as you lean back and front, and back and front. This is just a rocking motion. This is an anti-gravity movement. Now, this is our first movement called power up. All right, we're gonna add the arms to it. That was a body movement. And a lot of times when I teach people, I will teach you part of the movement, then add the second movement in, and then put them together. That's from my dancing, sometimes that helps. All right, so let's start. As we come down, we prepare. We come up, our arms go out to the side, and they go slightly back behind your shoulders. So I want you to feel like your shoulder blades are squeezing together like you have a walnut in between them and you're trying to crack it. Relax your shoulders down. The arms are up here, shoulders gonna hike. So keep them down just a little bit between that shoulder line. So we're gonna do 10 of these. We're gonna say prepare, activate. All right, so let's say that nice and loud. Let's do 10 of them. Ready? Here we go. Prepare, activate. Prepare, activate. Prepare, activate. Prepare, activate. Good. Prepare, activate. Prepare, activate. Prepare, activate. One more. Prepare, activate. Good. And bring the hands to the thighs. Excellent. So again, that is your anti-gravity movement. Our power up. That's helping us to stay lifted, shoulders back, postured. Our next movement is power rock. And when you do the power rock, I want you to lean to the side and lift your hip and your butt off the seat. Now, one of the things I want you to be aware of is that we are actually using our feet and our legs, and the hip rotates slightly to the side. Now, some of you are familiar with LSVT. I'm sure of it. I'm positive of it, right? With LSVT, you have this movement, correct? The front arm crosses the face and you close your body and the leg stretches out. It's a little different with power moves. Your power rock movement is not going to move your feet into a step out, but you're going to twist. So imagine that you were at a bar on a swiveling chair, okay? This is your motion here. So a twist, lift the hip and the butt. Twist, lift the hip and the butt. Twist, lift the hip and the butt, okay? So the arms, they go up here. We look at the hand up to the left, reach one up and reach one down. Then we come back to prepare. Now, why would we want to always come back to prepare by leaning forward? This helps us, like shock absorbers on a car, to spring up, right? If you ever jump, you can't jump from straight legs. You got to bend first. Same thing. Ready? Let's do it again. Prepare. Let's go to the left. Activate. And do it to the right. Prepare. Activate. Good. Now, I want you to look up at your hand. I'm going to watch you guys because I like to watch, but I want you to look up. Ready? Here we go. Prepare, activate. Prepare, activate. Prepare, activate. Prepare, activate. Good. Prepare, activate. Prepare, activate. And give me one power up. Power up. Good, and come on back. Now, most of the time, I'll finish every exercise with power up, because that'll reset. I'm a very big reset person. What does that mean? Find your reset position, your foundation, your start, and then move and come back to your start. And in this movement, the power twist, I'm going to explain that to you, okay? I'm going to come forward a tiny bit more so you can see me, okay? The power twist is about rotation in the trunk, axial movement of the torso. So we're twisting in the torso, but again, the legs are moving with us, okay? So sitting in the front edge of that seat, feeling that swivel, letting the hip turn is part of this exercise. Arms are going to go like this. Now I'm going to talk about orthostatic hypotension, head movement. If you have a tendency to get dizzy, I want you to keep your eyes forward. We're going to practice that first. We're going to take the right arm over to the left. Keep your eyes on me. And open. This is your reset. This is extremely important. Take your left hand to the right. Stay looking at me. And open. Okay. So I'm going to be very particular with this because I find that people kind of get mixed up with this one. I'll give you a demo of what I don't want you to do because this is what will make you dizzy. Right? You see how my head is just kind of going like that? So this focus, if anybody was ever a dancer, dancers spot. They come back to their center every time so that they have a focal point and that keeps them from getting dizzy, okay? So if you have a tendency to get dizzy, I want you to keep that head forward. Otherwise, you're going to look to the left, but then you're going to come back center and stop. You're going to look to the right, come back to the center and stop. This center is extremely important. This is your reset. So I want you to remember that. That is so important for balance, okay? When we're rushing through and not stopping in our middle, that's when we start to have issues with losing balance and getting dizzy. So let's practice that one, okay? Here we go. Arms out. I'm going to put it all together. Now, if you get dizzy, your eyes are staying forward, and if you don't, you're going to turn with me. Ready? Here we go. Left, left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center. Good. Left, center, right, center. Two more. Left, center, and right, center. Give me one power. Up and return. Good. Awesome. So I like to be very specific with that one because a lot of times we do have people rushing through it, especially as we speed up. So another thing I talk about, speed is always based on your coordination. If you start going faster and you lose coordination, then your speed is too fast. So figure out what your speed is based on clean movements, meaning you're hitting every number, right? So on here, it would be 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so we're not like skipping, like going 1.5, 1.5, and going too fast. The minute that you start losing pieces of the movement, then your speed is just too fast for you. And that's okay. Find the right speed for you. What's it going to keep you? The 4-letter word I told you in the beginning, most important 4-letter word starts with the letter S. Safe. If it's not safe, we can't do it. Has to be safe. All right? Okay. Last movement. So tell me again. Power what? Up. Yeah, good. Power rock. Let's do it to the right. And power twist is rotation. Now we're going to talk about transitions. Transitions are getting out of a car, going from one room to the next, through doorways, rolling over in bed, moving one side of the body at the same time, okay? We work it the same way. Prepare, and then we come back up. We're going to take the right arm, or the left arm out to the left, and the left leg out to the left, but it's going to happen at the same time. Bring it back. Now come down to prepare. Let's go to the right and take both arm and leg together. Good, and back. All right, a couple things. Sometimes people take a big step out, and then as they bring the foot back, it doesn't come back all the way. And then they take the next step, and then that foot comes back, it doesn't come back all the way. This is really important. This is about big steps. You guys know about this, right? So if you put something in front of your feet, if you have a tendency to not bring your feet back close enough, put something in front of your toes so that you know each time that foot is going to come back to that visual cue that you have, okay? Now, if you have a tendency to be able to bring those feet back together and you don't need that, that's okay. And it's not that you're not doing it, it's just something that happens. So give yourself a tool to make yourself successful. You'd be surprised, it really works. All right, ready? Let's do the prepare. So come on down, prepare, let's do the activate, power step. Prepare, power step. Prepare, power step. So each time you prepare, you're really bringing that power up, activated, posture back up before you take that big step out and back in. Let's do two more, one to the left and back, and then one to the right, and last power up and open. Good, great. That's great, guys. Let's put our weights down, grab a quick drink. All right, cool. So I wanted to move a little bit so that we're not just sitting all day, but I am going to get you up on your feet too. We're going to do power moves from our feet as well. I want to talk to you a little bit about the national plan to end Parkinson's disease. Who knows about that? I hope everybody's hand's going up. Yay. All right, good. So I started my new business back in May, and a long time ago when I was working in the Parkinson's community, probably, I would say like 4 or 5 years ago, I started to have the desire to speak out to people about the chemicals that are in our foods, in our farms, in our air. And I was really passionate about it, and nobody was really listening. And I tried to even talk to some of the congressmen and senators in New Jersey, and they really had no idea what I was even talking about. Well, now we have a proposed legislation, and now they're all talking and listening and saying, oh, that's what you were talking about. And I'm excited about it because I think that it's something that we really need to pay more attention to in our country, not just for Parkinson's, but across the board. If you look at other countries, they have a lot more strict rules about their food and drugs and things that they allow their citizens to ingest and eat and breathe. And their rates of Parkinson's diagnosis has been decreasing while ours is still increasing. Last year, not last year even, I think it's for this year we have lost $6 million in the budget from the National Institute of Health, and Parkinson's is getting a reduced amount of attention, a reduced amount of funding, and we are getting behind things like the opioid problem in this country, and we need to speak up. I think part of our issue is that we are quiet, and it's kind of ironic that our voices are getting quieter, but we're not speaking up, not enough people know about it, and people aren't taking action, even if they do know about it. So my group that I work with created this incredible postcard and flyer, and we have been distributing them at local walks, and I took them up with me yesterday to New York, I've been distributing them at different organizations. We've been going to meetings. I have a few people who have done meetings at Sons of Italy, Knights of Columbus, women's groups in town, just sharing it to the local community, not even the Parkinson's community, but making people recognize that they are at risk for Parkinson's, or their families are, or their future generations, or their grandchildren. And this is really something that's happening and nobody's aware of it. But once you make them aware of it, they're very passionate about getting involved. So this postcard gives you a little bit of information about the decrease of funding, gives you information about how to reach out to your congressmen or your senators. Does everybody know how to do that? Yeah. So if you don't know how to do that, you can go to www.congress.gov, and right on the right-hand side of the page, there will be something that says, find representatives, find senators. And if you click on that, it'll take you right to a page where you can search your representatives in your state. I encourage all of you to write letters about your personal story. Encourage your families and friends to write letters about how Parkinson's is affecting them, and urge your representatives and senators to get behind us and co-sponsor this bill so that it can pass. We will see great things happen if we can get this to happen and be on board with other countries who have seen the same thing. And I really believe it can happen. We just have to be louder about it. There's already starting to be a lot of things, a lot of change, a lot of talk about awareness. They're starting to even think about reconsidering the 15-year approval on Paraquat. And things like this are extremely important for our future, not only for living with Parkinson's today, but for the future of the people that we love. So I really encourage you guys to share it, to speak out. If you want me to send you postcards, I'll send you 10 postcards. Send me your address and I'll send them out. Right, Robin? Robin's my sidekick. We are the team of Mission PD, and you know, we have sent things to people before, kazoos, and you name it, we send it. If we're working with the group and they need something to be able to make a difference, we'll make sure that you have it. So if anybody wants a postcard or any other information, let me know. Anybody have any questions about this? I'm sure that most of you are pretty well knowledgeable about it, so I'm glad. But we have to keep telling other people about it.
Excuse me for a second, Stacy. If
Yeah.
you're in the chat, there's the listing is posted now. And also, could Stacy, could your partner post your email in the chat too, so people can look at it?
Yeah, sure. Robin, will you do that for me? Thank you. Yeah, I'll give you, my email actually just changed. You guys can reach me at a very easy email, stacy@mission-pd.org. So that my email just got up this week. But really with this legislation, it may not go through this time, but that doesn't mean that we can let it lay. We have to stay on track, on top of it. So if you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to me. Please get involved. It is so important. Go to your local walks. Go to a moving day walk. Go to some of the Rocksteady places in your area, any of the Parkinson's facilities. Tell them what's going on. Do a presentation. Speak out. Be a leader here so that we can actually, for once and for all, get people to pay attention to what's happening. People don't even know that Parkinson's is a pandemic. They don't realize. I was at a Parkinson Council walk a few weeks ago, and I had a big flyer, you know, about this big, and I can't tell you how many people were still not aware of this bill being a thing at all. So, you know, that's something that's up to us. We need to start to really make a lot of stink. So I'm depending on you guys as women specifically. We're the ones that they say have the big mouths. So let's do it. We've got to make this happen. All right? Anybody want to share anything? Has anybody done anything that they can share? Give us some ideas, Susan.
Well, it's not sharing, just everybody has to vote. And it's about issues, and if who you're going to vote for is going to be supportive of healthcare. We need people who are going to support this issue. I've lobbied in Washington a couple of times on the similar thing. You need to, not one letter, but several, in the sense of banning paraquat, banning other things. If you know the statistics, you know we are the fastest growing neurological disorder in the world, and our soldiers, our people in uniform, are more likely to get Parkinson's than the general population because of all the chemicals used in their first Camp Lejeune. You're seeing commercials everywhere, but also because of the chemicals used in their work. They are over 10% of the Parkinson's population in the country, and yet they're only 1% of the population in service. Also farmers and anybody who's grown up around a lot of toxic things. Stacy, we're getting close to an hour, so I think we need to move along a little.
You got it. Perfect. Sounds good. So let's go back to Parkinson's wellness recovery so I can end on a really good note with you guys. Feeling good to go on the rest of your day. So let's stand up if that's going to work for you now. Okay. And we are going to have a little bit of fun. And you could use your weights if you'd like. If you need a chair for balance, you can always keep it right next to you, or in front of you, or you don't need it at all right? Option to keep those weights. So your power up is the same as when you were seated. Your preparation is a squat. Your activation is this big lift, okay? Now, if you're not sitting or using your chair, and you can put it behind you, the good thing about that is it makes you squat deeper. Because if your chair's not behind you, sometimes you do like some of those lame squats, right? All right, so ready? Let's do 10. Here we go. Now, each 10, I want you to call out an animal that you would see at the zoo. So you're going to squat, hippopotamus. Ready? Squat, zebra. Squat, snakes. Squat, monkeys. Squat, polar bears. Squat, flamingos. Squat, giraffes. Squat, lions. Squat, tigers. One more squat, and bears. Good. So part of exercise is not just moving your body, but use your brain, use your voice, and use it all. Ready? Let's do the power rock. So our rock goes up to the left. Now you see, yes, beautiful. That's it. See how this back foot is lifted? That's important. Now we come back down, squat, come up to the right, and good, and come back center. All right, now, each one that you do, I want you to call out a vegetable. All right, start maybe with the ones you like, then go to the ones you don't like, or whatever's in your garden, or whatever you bought this week. Ready? Here we go. We're gonna go to the left first. Power, rock. There you go. Power, lettuce. Power, peas. Power, corn. Power, potatoes. Power, squash. Power, onions. Power, eggplants. One more. Power, tomatoes. Power up to finish. Yeah. So we always want to come back to our center. We want to come back to the foundation of where we started. Now, another thing I want to remind you is feet. Bring them close together all the way. This is your most challenging balance position on 2 feet. Feet all the way together. Take slight apart. That is hip distance. Hip bones, draw an imaginary line over your thighs, hip distance. Take it a little wider, shoulder distance. Now take it wider, like you're so wide that if you went to take a step, you wouldn't be able to naturally take a step. If your feet are wider and it's difficult for you to take like a natural step to start walking, then they're too wide in your position. You want to always be in a position where if I said to you, walk to the right, you would be able to just go, right? You'd be able to make that quick move. That is where I want your feet to be shoulder width, not overly wide, okay? That'll kind of throw you off your balance. So let's do the power twist. Hands out to the side. Each time that you twist now, you're going to give me a fruit. I think my last one was a tomato. I think it was a fruit. Right? So we're going to twist. So we're going to go to the left and talk about fruit. So we have a plum, open, pear, open, peach, open, grapes, open, banana, open. That's it. Apple, open, strawberries, open, blueberries, open, one more, raspberries, open, and you're right in your center. Good. Bring your feet a little closer together. So this is your hip distance. Hip distance is close. Most women think hip distance is here. I say stand hip distance apart, they go, wah, right? Let's do our power step. And our power step is going to be our last one that we're going to do today. And then feel free to join me any day on any of my classes. And I have some videos as well that you can watch if you want to learn more about power moves, the moves from the floor, from the belly, at the wall, and how I convert all of them. So come down to the squat, prepare again, and just take a little bend, like a little bounce. Good. Feel that little bounce. Now we're going to spring up to the left, arm and leg. Boom. Yeah, both arms out. Beautiful. And come back, prepare. And go out to the front. Excellent. I love that. I love how you're looking at your hand. Look in the direction that you're going, because when you move in a different direction, you want to look where you're going. You want to watch where you're going. And big step. And in. Take another big step. And in. Good. Keep going. Big step. And in. Another big step. And in. One more big step to the right. Power up. And up. Good. Excellent. Anybody get their heart rate up with that? Little change in your breathing? I'm not talking about like you just ran a marathon, but I want you to feel a change. A little bit of warmth in the body, maybe a little bit of breath change, a little bit of opening and stretch, maybe the posture's up more, right? Or maybe just awareness. You're just an awareness of how you feel or how your body is, right? Anything that you do, anytime that you move, it's going to bring change. So keep that in mind. Remember what we talked about today, postures, our center, our position, anti-gravity, lifting up, rotations, and weight transfers, okay? And then transitions, movement, moving to a different space, moving to a different direction, okay? So this format is really near and dear to my heart. I love it more and more that I teach it. The legislation is something that I've been hoping for a long time, and I'm just so excited, and I can't wait to see what the next 10 years brings for the future of our country and the citizens here that are suffering with Parkinson's disease and worrying about their families. And I'm here as an advocate to help you on your journey. You know, phone call away, email away. I love what I do.
Stacy. No, it's a question. Do we have, to my knowledge, we do not have deadlines for the bill because it hasn't been called yet. But do you have any loose deadlines of when letters have to be in by?
I don't have deadlines, honestly. I don't think so. I think that what's happening is if it doesn't go through, it'll just kind of roll over after the election.
Well, I have not seen any call for the vote. I hear it's off, it's going to be called, but then I hear it's not going to be called, and pretty soon they'll be in recess. So I really don't know. But I
So
didn't.
I hear back and forth too, Susan. I've heard some people who have spoken to Larry Gifford, who's with the PD Avengers. He has a very positive feeling about the fact that the bill is going to go through. I don't know if he has, you know, any type of, you know, information, but I did get wind of that from another advocate that I know. A lot of the offices that we have spoken to have told us that they don't feel that it will go through because of the time frame. But I am hopeful that in some way or another that there's something that we don't know and that it is going to go through. But at any rate, we're the soldiers. We have to keep on fighting for it. We're going to keep on speaking out, making it happen.
Okay, and what I recommend to everyone is let this be their, get it done in the next day or so before they get busy or forget about it, and to send out on your emails to please contact everybody's congressperson and senator about the bill coming up on to try and end Parkinson's. It's a complex problem. If you need any facts or information, just so you know, Parkinson's costs the nation $52 billion a year. Basically 26 from the private sector, meaning our time and everything. Yes, somebody's saying shocked. And then about 26 from the federal government in care and nurturing, where we get something, I think it's a, Stacy has the exact number, but we only allot about 150 million for research. And for something that's costing the country $52 billion a year,
Yes.
and that is growing so quickly, and you know, is not, is the fastest growing neurological disorder in the world. That's pretty pittance.
It's not balanced. The effort that we need is not balanced with the need.
Part of the image that we have, and we women can change that, is that this is an old man's disease, that very old people get it, and it's not that anybody wants to get it, but it's towards the end of life. If you look around our gallery and you look around and you know the reality that we do not get it just at the end of life. We get it somewhere in the maybe the middle to the last third of life, with a lot of employment time left, family time left, and quality living time left. People think it's just men. We know we are 40%. That means, you know, over 400,000 women in the United States have Parkinson's. That's a big number.
And the age groups are much younger than they ever were before.
Well, they used to think the average age was in the 70s. Now they've backed it down to around 62. And in reality, it's more in the 50s. It may be early onset is less prevalent, but people in their 50s are in the prime of their earning years, often prime of their parenting years.
Yep.
And so it's really that important that we speak up. Does anybody have any other questions? Because we're at the end of the hour and you can unmute yourselves.
Ashlyn and Susan, I'll send you a copy of the flyer. And you know, you could give it to Sharon, or maybe Ashlyn, you could put it on the newsletter, just so that people can read the details. And, you know, a lot of people don't realize that we've lost funding, or that, you know, the economic burden that we're under. So these numbers are like eye-opening when people see them. So I'll send that to you and I'll get that out. Thank you, everybody, so much for participating and being here today.
Sure, we don't have.
You're all my heroes and warriors in my heart every day. I'm here if you need me.
Okay, and we want to thank Stacy for being with us. We want to present Ashlyn. You ready for the tiara? Okay, she's ready. We want to present you with our virtual scholarships for the, we want to make this, thank you. Scholarships for the World Parkinson's Council or conference in Spain is, registration is $400, and Twitchy Women has been donated funds and collected funds to give many scholarships to women who have never been there before, that are very active in the Parkinson's community, their registration fee to go. So that's a wonderful, generous offer from donations. Donations to the fund are still open and welcome for other people. If you're not going yourself, but you want other people to go, please donate to the fund. But it's really important that we support this movement, and that Twitchy Women will hopefully be making a presentation at the council, or on the conference, sorry, We're working on that now. So remember to do that. Also, again, for the mentor program, let me see, there's a question. Somebody has a Zoom on Wednesday with Congressman Schweiger to discuss the bill and living with Parkinson's. That's great. If you can get a one-on-one contact, that's great. Often they're staff members. My son worked on Capitol Hill. Staff members, don't be upset if you're only speaking to a young staff person, because they run the office much more than you realize. My son was a lowly staff person. He wrote bills, and that they are the gatekeeper to the office. So don't be upset if you're working with a staff person. The important thing is when you meet with somebody, make it personal. Make it, you now know somebody with Parkinson's, and the facts: fastest growing neurological disorder, how much it costs the country, what we're doing to not make it better, and what we can do to make it better. Okay, Ashlyn, do you have that tiara, or do you have something else for me? Ashlyn. Okay, we got that. Okay, next up on Sunday mornings, Kat Hill and Nancy Pete, my glasses are foggy, for all our Living Well programs. And I think that's the one Christy, I think, is handling. And then we have more, as you see, balance, gait, and adaptive devices. And then Zooming probably towards the end of our year, Rock Steady Boxing with Dean Moskowitz. And if you're not boxing now, it is one of my favorite things to do. I never knew I wanted to be a boxer until I got Parkinson's. And then Anything Goes on Tuesday mornings with Shelley Savoy. It's a wonderful support group on Tuesday mornings that Shelley runs. It's if you're interested in attending, please just look at the email now. And I was at the group once to check it out. It's a really terrific group. Shelley does an excellent job, and it's becoming another virtual support group home for we women with Parkinson's. Twitchies Without Partners is the Sunday morning group. It's been going on for a few months now for women who are single. Basically, they're single, whether they're single by choice or single by default, whatever, but there's unique problems when you don't have a partner, a live-in partner. So the group is very functional, and it's very important that you help and support each other, and that's what the group's about. It meets us the mornings that they have, that we have the Sunday morning presentation will be a Twitchies Without Partner presentation or a group. Okay, no physical slide for Tiara. Okay. So, tiara. So we're giving you a virtual tiara for thanking you with being with us. You've been with us before, so you probably have another tiara. And how many do you need? Let's face it. And
I'll take as many crowns as I can get.
Okay, Robin's holding up a tiara. Excellent. I did not know Robin had a tiara. It's nice to know that she's part of the royal family. We were unaware of that, but we now know. Okay, any other questions? Not a lot came in on the chat. The important point of all of our meetings is there's a quote that I read recently, and I forget who said it. I have it written down somewhere. It says, be strong, be strong, be stronger together. And no matter what we do, we are stronger together, living well together and being stronger together. Whether it be our advocacy work, whether it be our exercise work, whether it be our love for our families and the people around us work, just be strong, be stronger together. Any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you very much, Stacy.
Thank you. It was great seeing you guys. Have a wonderful Sunday.